You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
We are TFR. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
What is up, everyone? Don't know what that's about, but we'll figure it out, I guess. My name's Frank Castle, your Sorcerer Supreme, and this is Fearless. I think that was Ra's music. What's up, Ra? Shout outs to the Eye of Ra. What's up, Paula Milo, my ethereal translator?
Hey, everyone. The music threw me. That wasn't our intro
Completely
music
threw us
at all.
off. But it's all good. So, shout outs to Chris and Cherie. Love you guys. Thanks for setting this all up for us so we can grow and become fearless together. So the story can be told. So we can make the moves we need to make to move forward in whatever this is in this game of life. When last we left off was literally me calling out to you. Quick recap. I was in my home. Now, we're very far from this, and I have so much more to discuss, but I really want to just get to the story quickly. I had beings come in the room. I kind of moved away from them. This is just quick recap from last show. Went into the bathroom, threw water on my face, realized that one of the beings was pointing what looked like a leaf blower at me, and he had turned it on, and he picked it up and pushed it at me. It knocked my body to the ground. I went face first from the bathroom right out here into the living room area and started trying to wonder what was happening, and I saw everyone piling in the room around me, and they kind of made it look like, or tried to, now that I'm a little bit away from it, I'm separated from some of the anxiety and the experience itself. I have a clear view of what they were doing. They were trying to make it look like a suicide of some kind, or maybe I had a heart attack and just fell and hit my head, and you had seen me having fake seizures earlier in the evening. Okay, so I jumped back in my body, and as I dived back in, it was like hitting a wall of jello, and I couldn't pierce through it. So the beings were piling up on me, and I kept pushing and pushing and pushing. I get in my body, it cracks open. Whatever substance that was, whatever frequency that was, I pierce it, get in my body, and I realize I'm on the floor, losing it, and I'm taking deep breaths, and I'm trying to scream for help for Paula. I finally get out of Paula, and Paula comes running out. She's like, "What happened?" I'm sorry, we've gone over this a lot of times, so I'm kind of abridging the version so we can bridge the gap between what happened and what happened. And the only reason why I want to continue with the story is because something I found out just the other day when looking on the internet with Paul, just to check on any of this stuff and see if it's real. With my eyes closed, and when I was going in and out of my body, I can see the holodeck. I could see a bubble around us that locked us in on the property, so I couldn't get anything out, and no one can get in. That's what it looked like. There was like a dome put over this place. So as Paula was helping me up, she started. You said your head hurt.
Oh yeah, I got a very bad headache as soon as I came near you.
So the energy that they were using, these concentric rings, were coming out of this weapon that looked like a leaf blower. And it just echoed towards me like donuts that grew bigger. And then they were wave after wave after wave. And I'm like, oh, enough, right? Well, I started to think they were backing off because I felt it in my wrists. I was telling you this, like the whole Jesus thing, right? So they nail them in the wrists and in the feet. And I think that's to show that they're blocking those chakras. I don't want to call them chakras, maybe energy, but they're chakras. And they're blocking those energy centers by saying, look, we hung you through, we like pierced that and held you down through that. All right. So I felt it there throughout my whole body. So it felt like my body was going through stuff. But then as I was starting to get footing and get up, you were helping me up back towards my desk. And I was trying to explain to you, they were in the room with us, and some of the weird stuff that I was seeing that was so out of control. And mind you, this is frightening. This isn't easy to deal with. Paula likes to laugh and go, well, that's Tuesday at our place, right? It's just a normal Tuesday. But this one was a little out of control. No substances were used. This was just wide awake.
Yeah, this was just something that happened to you. You were basically attacked.
So, and you said that right up front.
Oh, as soon as I saw you on the floor. As soon as she saw me on
the floor the first time. That's amazing. What the gut. This is why I love you. Like that.
Oh,
I was the one that was like, no, I'm not getting attacked. And you were like, I think you're getting attacked. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting attacked. Because I thought I was having a seizure or something. I was like, I just can't stop what's going on. But then internally I was fine.
Well, that's why when you were overheating and you were in the bathroom, I immediately started throwing those wet towels on you because I said, I can't even call an ambulance. Like, what do I tell the ambulance driver? Like, why is this happening? You know, they're going to.
See, that's the trick.
So it's like you got to, they want you in a complete frenzy, in a state of panic, so that the earthly takes over, so that you do have a seizure or you do have a heart attack.
Or it's believed that that's what happened.
It's perceived as that happened.
Oh. I start to feel, back to the energy centers, my wrist it bend my arms. I couldn't bend my arms. It was the weirdest thing. And I was just taking these massive breaths. And I said, Paul, I think I'm having an asthma attack. And then my body guy, Frank, is going, oh, this is happening, and that's happening, and that's happening, get my asthma thing. And then the inside guy's like, you're fine. Yeah. You're not having an asthma attack.
You're not.
You're not even having a panic attack. This is forced. Don't you see what's happening? And I take this. She gives me the asthma pump. I go to take it, and I go, I don't need this.
And you threw it.
And I throw it. So I have the energy to chuck it, but I'm begging for it. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I start to just get up with your help.
Because you're having two completely opposite emotions at the same time. Your higher self and your earthly self.
Well, jumping in and out, popping in and out of the body. Absolutely, because you have, like...
I got hit with a very bad headache. So whatever hit you, hit me because my head hurt so badly.
Right, so
my head's hurting now.
The energy centers were getting attacked, right? So my head, the top of my head, my forehead, where my third eye is, as I'm sitting at the desk, or I'm actually standing, I'm crouched over, I look all weird, and I'm like, they're trying to attack us. I sounded all weird, and words were jumbled and coming out backwards. But I had my hands, and then I felt my head, and I went, nah. And then from my head to my face, down to my chin, completely cleared, and all my arms and feet cleared. And I was like, wait, what? And I go, maybe they're turning this thing down on me. And I saw the being standing in front of me with it on, like he put it up to my face. And all I felt it was now in my throat and down to my midsection, below, right in the mid. And I was trying to talk to you, and and then the throat opened, it cleared. My heart cleared instantly. Mm-hmm. And then I said,
it's like they turned it off, the device off.
Well, the funny thing is they didn't turn it off. They were turning it up. But I was watching it, and I said, they're using a weapon against your chakra points. It's like a frequency device or something. Go figure, the guys that can rock the lower three know to attack your lower three because that's what they excel in. So say there's 12 chakras. Let's talk whatever, right? There's probably way more and all that other stuff. They're just points inside the diagram of your digital organic self, right? So these beings rock the red, the yellow, and the orange in their own personal avatar suits like champs, right? So that's why the corrupted ones or the reptilians go from those the chakras they all use. They're always in use, like on high and mastered them, or whatever that means, the energy or the resourcefulness and all of it. They're experts at it, but they suck at everything else, right? They may have like their mind open, but they could do certain things. But when I've come in contact with just about all these beings, they have limitations and we do not. Our only limitation is self-imposed limitations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You know that. If you think you can't, you can't.
You already lost, yeah.
You
will.
You will. Not only will you succeed, but you will.
You probably already have.
Yeah. With purpose.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so I felt that, and I tell Paula, and then I was trying to talk to her now, and it was annoying me what they were doing. And then I looked right in front of me, and I did this breath with this, I used both hands like I was pushing something out of myself. And internally, it was a hard light white construct that lit up inside me as if the light being was going to concentrate. I thought he was going to come out and just pummel someone, but it was like a hard light version of myself coming out of myself, and then this red energy signature that I've only seen when I learned about love from the goddess Isis. She showed me every shade of red and explained how love can be across the whole thing. It was like the bundle of that emanated from every point of what you would consider a chakra in my body. And it didn't come out of my heart. It came out of everything. And just this, whatever thing they were using with these rings just reversed and went back the other way.
Because it wasn't going to work anymore.
It was like my body matched the frequency.
Right.
You beat me up. You had your chance. You had me for a couple hours. The first time I didn't know. I wasn't aware. Second time I'm aware of it. Third time my body reacts as a defense.
Right.
+1 against you.
Because you transmuted it.
Yeah. So anything you now choose to use against me in this situation can be brought back the other way. All right. So I cried and I held Paula and I said, I don't want to die like this, because they wanted to make it look like I killed myself or something. And it really, really kind of freaked me out a little bit that it got that live. And then I thought to myself, why wouldn't it?
But it was a very quick escalation. Real. It was only in a matter of a few hours this happened. The whole thing, from beginning to end, only took a few hours.
Yes, and it was purposefully done, okay, against us. So now I felt like a champ after it was over. The next day we had a nice long talk as I was reading. Oh,
yeah, it was a lot to process. It was a lot. It took a couple of days to get it all out.
But I took it the whole time. The whole time, not once did I feel like a victim.
No, and you were very clear on that, even that night.
I was like, they showed up here, beat me up, and I won. I was able to reverse all damages done and level up at the same time.
But not only that, you got a glimpse into what you thought was really happening, because I think it was the military.
So I saw
using a device.
I don't know if I mentioned this last week, so I should have said this. The ET that popped up in front of me, that was just standing as if my desk wasn't even there. There were military men with them, standing right behind him as if they were observing what can be done. And I said to one of them, they were standing off to the right. I said, "You would be like that to humans? You would do this to your own people? I can find you. I might not be able to find these guys because these guys are tricky and telepathy and telekinesis and all that stuff. But you I could find."
But they could have been running a drill. Aren't there people that are paid just to see things?
Yes.
People with abilities that are paid just to go in and see, just to go in and see what's going on. Yeah.
And how do they do this? And maybe they were testing a weapon.
Exactly.
So let's see how this works on this guy.
Exactly.
Although I don't find a coincidence in it, I find that all of this is thought of and then put into action. It's not like cordon off the area and just get these 20 people here.
You don't know.
Well, we're making
really
pretty big waves in the water, so
you really don't know.
I believe my energy.
It could have been a drill because you saw through the other house. The neighbors were getting hit too.
They were standing there as if they got the white light flash.
Exactly, like the Men in Black.
Men in Black. Spoiler alert! Once again, reptilian shapeshifters and tentacles. I'm dead serious. Every movie, Hellboy, tentacles that come out of the portal in space, out of the eclipse. When you drink the blood, that was Hellboy. Hellboy was exactly what we all described that saw the tentacles during the South Carolina trip.
See, even the chat room people are agreeing with me. I think it was definitely a military experiment, and it could have just been a square radius, a radius of anything, because you saw through and you saw the neighbors. So it wasn't them; it was you, your ability to see that.
Yes, and they were like, "Oh, you can see me."
Exactly, and they happened to see you. Do you know what I mean? They probably thought they were protected as well.
Yeah.
And they weren't.
Not here.
But in the next house over, they were.
So it's nothing. But they have their own sets of issues.
Exactly. So we're never going to know.
Exactly.
But, however, a few days later, this was still bothering you. And we talked about it. We were sitting outside under the sun on a beautiful day, getting upgrades. And then Frank comes in the house and he goes online. And he finds exactly the device that he thinks was used.
I said, let me just see. I wrote frequency weapons into Google. And then I just went to go look at the images because I wanted to show concentric rings. I wanted to show Paula how it was hitting me. And because I know a drawing of it is fantastic. So I find a photo of a drawing of a diagram of what a frequency weapon does. So I see the guy holding it, but it's over, right? And then it's a wall, or not a brick wall. It's like a house wall, and then a guy inside the house, and then there's all stuff, and it's all labeled, and then they show you the guy shooting the weapon, and it's those from when they draw it in 2D. It looks like little checks that get bigger and bigger and bigger, like little waves.
Yeah.
And it felt like that. You just couldn't hear it.
Like sonar.
Yes. So check it out. I go, I wonder what this picture leads back to. Is this someone's drawing? Click on it, and it takes me to, all right. This is BitCAD, white papers, sonic weapons introductions, right? So I'm going to post this right now in the chat room so you can see for yourself. When I scroll down, it says there's a whole bunch of stuff, but there's going to be a specific one I just read real quick. There's resonance, infrasonic and ultrasonic weapons. Then under it is the photo of the ultrasonic infrared sonic cannon. You fire the cannon from outside of the premises. It ignores everything but the target. So it drops the target, as you can see in the photo.
Yep.
Shows the concentric rings and the guy holding it on his shoulder. The being that I saw was holding it at his waist, like a little mini gun or a Ghostbuster gun. Like
same thing.
Because I was like,
right?
You guys have.
It's right there. The document is right there.
So, it talks about all this. All right. When I was getting hit, I said, "Is that a sonic weapon? I can see it, but I can't hear it. I can't hear you." I was doing that. Infrasound occurs when the ELF range is from 20 hertz, which is lower limit human hearing. Normally, the power of the sound, rather than the frequency, determines the pain and the damage threshold. Okay. Let's go to... Infrasound travels great distances and easily passes through most buildings and vehicles. It is normally sensed by the ears, but at high power levels, it can couple with the body and be felt as just vibrations. Here's.
Why don't you read the things it does to you?
That's what I was looking for. Okay, so my bad, guys. Just deal with me for a second because this is good. From about 100 to 140 decibels, infrasound causes a variety of biological symptoms depending on the frequency and power level. Basically, the higher the power level, the greater the damage. The effects include fatigue, pressure in the ears, visual blurring, drowsiness, imbalance, disorientation, vibration of the internal organs, severe intestinal pains, nausea, and vomiting. Higher power levels can liquefy bowels, and the resonance of the internal organs causing death. Infrasound can also cause feelings of pressure in the chest, choking, irregular breathing problems, and respiratory incapacitation.
And that all happened to you.
I can't breathe.
That all happened to you in a matter of minutes. That all happened to you.
Look, there it is right there. Somebody just posted in the chat room. Thank you. Look, I'm telling you, I learn about all this shit as I go, and it's the craziest thing when it comes online. I was telling Paula, we were talking about this. When you see it, it's way different. You start connecting the dots differently.
Well, we're very prepared for this hit because we had taken a hit a couple months ago, and I think we did very good. Like, if it was a drill, we would have definitely succeeded, because I think the way that we just band together and got through it, there was no drama involved. And I think each time this happens, it gets easier.
And we're being tested on that weird level. And it says here, infrasound causes a variety of psychological effects depending on the frequency and the power levels. It can cause the following: loss of concentration, disgust, apathy, sadness, depression, fear, anxiety, panic attacks. All right, this guy, John Alexander, in his December 1980 article, The New Mental Battlefield. All right, it could be used to induce depression or irritability in a target population. So they could just, this is 5G, this is wet, that's like the first version of this. It's going to be put up. Then you'll see rolled out after that, if they get through the 5G, by the 5G laws, and they put them everywhere and they turn them on, you can guarantee dudes are going to show up with these weapons and stand outside your house. And if they're calling to you, they're not going to kick in your door and shoot your dog anymore. It's going to become something in the norm of the darkest foot on your neck, which is why Liberty was created, to break free of that. But something I was telling Paula, one of my downloads today that I'm just getting, that's crazy, is that stuff like, and this is going to sound funny, but we're digital and electrical and a biological hologram. So anything that would come at us, no matter how real they think they are, as well as we think we're real, things like sage and cannabis.
Oh, yeah, we were just talking about this, yeah.
They are, and this is an ayahuasca, ibogaine, right?
And nature's remedy.
Nature's remedy to cause disruptions in the functions they would, in the weapons they would use against you that you're unaware of. It disrupts the function. So sage disrupts the demon. This one disrupts, it gets you back online. This one clears you out. This one makes you feel good that you're here, right? Like, you get, each one has a certain defense against the offensive weapon of the enemy, but quietly through shaman of ancient past, because this is actually something of a time war. If time is in a sphere of time, right? All of time, and then outside of time is other stuff. If they were going to take over, I was saying they're here a lot longer than 100,000 years. This is like they've had the takeover in millennia, right? So we come in to the planet knowing they're there. The beings like us come in before that to be here first, beat them to the time war. If we go back at this time, that's where the takeover starts. The Matrix gets an overlay and begins there. We come into the Matrix at that time, and you and I live life after lifetime, either with each other or searching for each other or connecting to other soul family members until the combination corrects itself to get all the way here. But remember Doctor Strange? He was like 14 million plus ways, only one worked.
Right.
All right, this is the one that works, right? Except in this battle, there is no, the sacrifice is giving up the distractions. There's no more sacrificing Paula or Frankie or the baby to the monster. There's no more of that stuff.
But it is because you have to just push all that out. You have to stay from it. Like we're talking about it now and bringing light to it. But then once it's done, it's done. That's it.
Yes. And yes, Chris, when I was attacked, I did feel panic. I thought I was having a panic attack when this first started. And I said, because it started hours earlier, I was like, why am I having a panic attack? There's literally nothing wrong with me. But I'm showing every sign of having a seizure and a panic attack and an anxiety attack all at once, but not self-induced. I know the difference because I've had a seizure, I've had a panic attack, and I've had anxiety in the past. I no longer have that because of the stuff that I've seen is just really knocking that.
Yeah, knocking that away.
Yeah, it's just knocking that away. So I have that one moment of breathlessness, even a few where I have to bend my knees and kind of go, whoa, I might pass out from this, but
yeah, we're gonna pick this one this week.
Yeah, you can feel the difference. You can tell the difference. All right, when we come back, we're gonna be even more awesome as we just start picking away at all the things that have been going on in this upgrade. This is FearLess, and I'm Frank Castle. This is awesome. Love it.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
No hate, no hype, no fear. Real people, real radio.
Am I weak or is this a dream? A fantasy where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world. Thought you were alive until you felt my pain. The circus in my
We are back, and it sounds like the 4th of July outside our house. Every cat has just come running in. One of the things I noticed the entire time was Roxy, my cat, our cat, was visually... All right, to just play it back one more time. Someone rapped on the window 3 times from inside the house, and I thought it was a cat in the window. And I realized you can't rap on the window unless you're inside the house. The way it sounded and everything came from like the high window inside, and Roxy was just staring.
Oh, she saw something, definitely.
And I was like, wow, you're just gonna... It was like someone was there to observe this happening to me. That's what I kept feeling like. She can't do anything naturally, but she was seeing it. She was staring where I thought the beings were, and she was just looking. And it makes me feel like maybe our animals are like windows, portal windows that the organic consciousness, your higher self or other soul family looks in from to witness.
Well, I think they can go in and out. I think they can cross dimensions. I think they do that all the time anyway. And I think that's why they do see things we don't see, or see things before we see them. Like that entity that came in and pushed everyone out of the way that night. It pushed her out of the way because she cried, and then it pushed me.
It pushed all of us out.
Yeah, so I know they definitely see what's going on. Like, see, now she's scared because of the fireworks, and I can't do anything to console her. She has to wait.
Yeah, it's interesting how they don't want you feeding some of the, right? And then you don't have, like, the birds in the tree when you turn on the 5G to help protect you from the other things you're not aware of them protecting you from. Right, so I'll just talk. I had some darkness on the property once, and I noticed the birds in our tree, Hop's family, was tweeting like crazy, and usually they're fighting with the other one, like
with the other birds, yeah.
But they weren't fighting; they were all staring into the yard where I was standing, going, "What the hell's going on in here?" And when I closed my eyes, it looked like bursts of energy from every tweet were exploding, like shooting like plasma weapons out of their face, and hitting the dark. And the dark was like taking a step back with each one, and they were aligned. I mean, you ever heard birds go nuts? It was like getting shot by a rapid fire machine gun. And I go, oh, you birds are doing way more than I'm even aware of.
Absolutely. I think everything
Everyone's got
here.
an etherical
they all
ability.
have a job.
This is why it's so important to take care of the animal. You don't realize just what they're doing. Some of them are care in the physical, and some of them are there to do other things that you're unaware of, like cleaning out the matrix by having ants, right? A lot of people have ant issues. If you fed them around a line in your house and had a nice little conversation before you start dumping poison all over the place. Now, I get it. Some problems are just out of control. But then again, it's just like life. Things get out of control. At that point, talking to someone doesn't matter. Their stuff is everywhere. Just like an Aya ceremony, people leave their stuff there at the ceremony and they walk away clean, and it's on you to stay clean. So you got to keep those conversations with yourself. Keep your conversations to your safe, sacred space within your house, your home. It's important to outline consciously.
Yep. We have ours on map.
Yeah.
Our bubble goes to the street.
Yep. And if necessary, we've discussed how the bubble just expands.
Yep.
And just keeps going. So if anyone has anything to say like, well, this is not your area. This area belongs to what? Me? Prime creator, sir. Not today, sir. You will not be taking our pod today.
Don't mess with my bubble.
Yeah. That's how you win at this. It's a battle in your mind over the programming. It's really weird. One thing we talked about, and Rob way back when reminded me of this, about how the Giants song, the Fee Fi Fo Fum, I Smell the Blood of an Englishman, and how it relates to the Giants came looking for the light beings, the enlightened ones, and they can smell them through the DNA. So they would just go town to town and there's one right there, and they would attack.
Oh, I believe it.
The raw
I
conscious
believe there's
being.
a lot to say about smell.
Yeah, they're not eating the NPCs. I mean, they eat whatever they want, but they were literally like overseers, like supervisors to the levels of.
But I get that because here. I can tell your scent. I can pick your scent out of anyone's scent.
Yes. Because it's the DNA. It's not just a smell. It's a whole thing that's occurring. It's the energy that resonates through the whole thing.
It has to be, because Oscar does it to me. My cat, Oscar.
They smell you to make sure it's really you.
He sits next to me and he'll smell me for hours. And when I go away, or if I'm not around, I have to leave a T-shirt out for him. Not a T-shirt from the drawer. It has to be from the hamper.
The dirty shirt.
And he just, Frank will tell you, like, he'll curl up in it and he'll sleep with it and he'll smell it. So there is something I knew a year before my father was diagnosed with cancer, something was off with him because he didn't smell the same.
Exactly.
But I didn't think it was that. So
right. We never trust our instinct with that.
Yeah, you don't
like,
trust
what am I,
it.
a dog? I could smell you.
Yep, but I knew something was different. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. We have the ability to do this.
Oh.
All right, first of all, we have every ability. I'm just going to let you know. So we have the all ability. When I say all, I mean all. I'm not saying sometimes. I'm not saying some things. I'm saying we have the ability to do everything and anything. But let's start with the five senses, right? How many synchronicities do you need when you and I are both, we know what's on the TV before it pops up, right? Like we did before, and you say it's right, like, oh, I could write this. Yes, you can. But at the same time, there's this weird thing that's occurring where I think this will come to the house, processed through our brains first, our electrical field before it hits the TV.
I get that.
It's still the same thing. It's exactly the same thing happening two different ways, right? So I looked up and I said something just right before the show started. We were watching Queen of the South, and the guy lit a cigar, and then he so they were leaving and there was hostages, and he's like, oh, and by the way, and I said, you have until I'm finished this cigar, and then the hostages are dead. And he goes, you have until I finish the cigar. And we just looked at each other, and she's like, see, it's rubbing off on you. And I literally felt like I knew. Now, is that a coincidence? I don't think so, because when that happens hundreds of times, Paula does this all day. Then she does it with me. See, that's the throw off. Then we do it with other people. So we know it's there.
Yeah.
Okay. So the senses are working in that field. So now we can smell, right? Remember we make the joke, I could smell the number 5 and the color purple.
Yep,
Taste it.
I remember.
That's what purple smells and tastes like. All right. So I was going to say today, all right, we were sitting outside and 2 people were just going upstairs. We saw them coming up the stairs and we were sitting out on the ground floor, and they were a lot older, and they're like, hey, right? So the next thing after me noticing them and the hey was what?
Oh, and a weird odor in the air. And then you got hit with some energy.
You saw me almost throw up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the heaviest smell of old people cologne. But not Grandpa's Old Spice. Not that. Right? Because Grandpa still smelled good. Dad still smells good without the Old Spice, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the one that smells like death. One that doesn't clean themselves properly, go to the bathroom, doesn't shower, or when they do, there's just something they're not doing causing decay, either internally or externally or in the metaphysical, because it's all one thing. The wafting smell of cologne and death. But it wasn't death. It was dark. Like as if the darkness was in that person. And I can smell it on them, and they're trying to mask it by having the cologne. So
I get
everyone wears cologne, so the beings can't figure out who's who. Because the air is constantly wafting and changing and shifting.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So they use 5G weapons to throw off, or just stuff in the atmosphere to throw off our visuals, to throw off our third eye, and now to throw off all things cologne, where they're making it dolphin stuff and whale stuff. You shouldn't support that. And honestly, if you need cologne, maybe you need a shower and you need to like a healthy diet and then some deodorant. Honestly, use some powder, talcum powder. Like I know this stuff needs to be explained because my dad, who I don't talk to anymore, who's born again, used to have these decrepit suckers in his house, and they'd all sit there and talk about Jesus. And I'm like, yeah, but is anyone talking about a shower for any of you? Because Jesus says to be clean, and I ain't cleaning your feet because you can't wipe your butt. Like, get out, right? And this would go on, and I'm like, what is this? The guys come decrepit and go, oh, but praise Jesus, right? And I'm like, I know Space Jesus. And he would tell you to take a shower and stop gathering in groups to act like victims that you need an external character to pull you through the mud.
All right,
you
vein
fucking weakling.
That vein pulsating in your head. Pull it back a little bit.
My apologies. And I'm sorry that I've been cursing on the show lately. It's bad habit forming because I'm just raw consciousness, and every once in a while I just want to punch it. And listen, so cologne and perfumes. Paula smells so beautiful. If you guys even attempt to smell my girlfriend, I will pie everyone here. But she doesn't need anything. Naturally, she can go a day or two without it getting rough, just like me. I go through the same thing. Listen, a lot of people can't do that. Oh, I'm being funny, but I'm being honest. Isn't that what this is all about?
No, I think it's wonderful. You just keep going.
Okay, so
totally fine.
They push through the deceptions and everything else with the distractions. You need these things.
You say these words, love.
I do love you. And you know what? Put the test. Go some push-ups and sit-ups and clean your body out. Do 3 days of fasting, water only. Do more if you can. Take some magnesium. Do the right thing for yourself and watch it change. Say instead of I'll believe it when I see it. Get back into the mode of I believe in it. I'm ready for the magic. Show it to me. Universe, show it to me.
Yeah.
Ground yourself and get ready.
Yeah. If you're waiting to see it, you're never going to see it.
You'll be waiting for the short bus on the corner. Is that mine? No, you're not. No one's coming here for you today.
Because it's all true.
Right. Because you bring the bus to you when you're ready. It just shows up.
Yeah. Just give in. Just accept it. It's all true. That's
the submission that we talk about. We're not talking about submitting to a master. We're not talking about praying or getting on your knees or bowing, or we say be respectful and do what you got to do.
Open your mind enough to accept that it's all real. Just start there.
Get the ding, 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 bring it out. It's very important.
I know this.
No, I'm telling you.
You don't have
Push
to.
that energy through the mic.
I did.
Oh, man. I'm pushing it through. I hope you guys are feeling this. My bad.
Oh, we want to say Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to everyone. You know what, though? Every day should be Happy Father's Day. Every day.
And I want to say Happy Father's Day to Marshall Bryant, because you're both. And I love you.
And to Andrew Sly, you're the man.
Yes, you are the man.
And to all you families that are made up of just you and your fuzzy little families and your different animal
too.
families.
Of course that counts.
That counts. Don't let anyone ever tell you any different.
No, that's work.
If you see the work that goes on, you wouldn't know there's really anyone here. And then when you sit down for a little bit, it gets out of control sometimes.
When Frank and I sit in the yard, it's like nature is cueing every animal in the neighborhood to come walk through the yard. And we just are getting blamed for stuff that has nothing to do with us. We're just sitting there and birds and every cat in the neighborhood and the squirrels will come. It's just a beautiful thing.
Although he's got to be 20 feet away from you on a fence looking at you. Right? Like everyone, the birds, the bee pays us a visit, a butterfly every day comes into the yard when Paula and I are sitting there and we're like, oh, hello, butterfly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Every day. Butterflies don't last every day. Right? We go watch the length of a butterfly, how long they live. And we have one every day. It's always different, or it's the same one for a little bit, and then a new one shows up. And I'm like, this is awesome because none of the birds, because we get the blue jay, that's yappy bappy bird, right? None of those insects are getting eaten, but all the other ones are. The spiders, we have jumping spiders. I think they came up from Florida with all the people coming back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But there's big ones outside. They're for here. They're big. They don't bite. They don't bite me anymore. They used to bite me and I would scream. Today I was looking on the floor while we were talking. That's what I was looking at. There was a big one.
Oh, is that what you were looking at?
I was like, listen, spider, you're a big one. You bite me and I'm stepping on your ass. But if you're just looking for some shade, you could have the shade of my leg. And I put my foot back up. And the spider chilled and then went under the foot thing. Like there's like little ridges in the designs in the cement.
Oh, yeah.
Crawled under that, and I picked my foot up like, oh, it's going to bite me, and it was already under the leaf. I'm convinced 100%. Now, don't go standing in front of a polar bear at the Bronx Zoo. That just is stupid, right? That's getting in a cage with an animal. I'm starting to understand what they meant when the animals lived in harmony and peace. When you help as a creator with the balance, things start to stay in balance with you. But that has to happen from every sacred space, right? So it should go to every house. And if every home did that, you would have a different kind of community around you.
I agree with you. I'm the one who sits here and shells peanuts. We feed the squirrels, but they were complaining about the peanut shells. But I had already ordered a 25-pound box of peanuts. So I shell them. I just get one big
she sits there
bowl at a time with a pair of pliers and I shell them and I put them in a bag for these squirrels. And I wonder, do they know how much love is involved?
They taste it, and that's why they keep coming back, and that's why no one attacks them. And
do you think so? I do
think so.
I really do hope so.
It's no, they know, and they feel protected and loved. They look for you. They look for me. This is signs it's happening all around you.
Well, your mother was here the other day, and we were sitting outside having
Did it break
coffee.
Her?
Well, first she looked at me like I was a complete lunatic.
First you're the cat lady.
So we're sitting out there, and our squirrel comes, and I said, "Oh, Diane, I'm sorry, I have to run in and get a little bowl of nuts for her." And she was sitting right next to your mother on the lawn eating nuts. And your mother's making faces like you're a lunatic.
And the other cat's sitting behind the chair.
I know. And then we have who doesn't lord. She was sitting behind the chair. And your mother wants to laugh, but she doesn't want to laugh directly at me. And And I just thought that was funny.
All right, here's another thing that occurs in that that kind of piece. Even though we're kind of busy sometimes during the day, feeding everyone.
Yeah, and going in and
things.
out, whatever.
Okay, it instantly raises your frequency.
I think so.
Oh, come on. We're sitting out in the sun. You could feel and see the rays, the way they're drawn on the pyramid.
I looked out the window and watched that squirrel. There was a squirrel in the yard. He was in the yard for about 3 hours. And every time I passed the window, I looked at him. And I went outside a few times. She was just eating and playing and being cute. She won't come near us. She's scared. But she played in the yard for about 3 hours. And the birds were out. It was just a beautiful thing.
Now, see, in that we make our decisions, and as well sit and ground. We take some time. We throw out some peanuts. We feed the birds. The cats just come out of everywhere.
Yeah.
I go out to talk to someone. I did it last night. I was talking to someone in the guy's driveway next door, and everyone came out.
I know.
And they were like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Sherman used to do it with Buddy, and now everyone does it." And I'm like, and then I'll turn around and they'll all kind of run, but only 2 feet in front of me. Then I got to walk, or they won't walk. They'll turn around and come back to me. So they're expecting me. They're like, "Come on, let's go, let's go." And I feel like they're protecting, but they're doing more. Sherman used to run out energetic. He would literally run out in front of me. And then when I went under DMT to do the cat thing a while back, I saw that he was the faux dog, the dragon with no wings. Food dog. And he was literally, energetically, he had the energy of that other entity as when a cat hits himself. So he'd run in front of me, stop, and I would just see the golden dragon of him, his energy, then extend all around like he was guarding and protecting spiritually. If another human came over, he could kick the cat, for sure. But if you're just walking by and you got some stuff attached, it won't come over.
No, because its energy is his energy was deflecting their energy. And I agree with that, because my cat stood in the other night. You had gone out for a while. You went to see your mom, run a few errands, and you went to see Josh. And Oscar usually goes out at night, and he didn't go out that night. And even when Frank came home, he was looking at me, he was like, "Oh, Oscar, you're here." But I think he purposely stood home with me, because he knew you weren't here.
I opened the door and everyone looked up at me like, "You're here." I wanted to go out.
Right.
And I'm like, "Oh, the Booba boys are in the house. I see how this is going." So I had flexed on that thought. I know what happens etherically here. So I understand that this environment is necessary as we level up and checkpoint in this.
Oh, I agree.
It's like
new
levels, new devils, man. And you're gaining. We talked about being the base of the pyramid. Has to be perfect.
I
as
agree.
You build the pyramid, it doesn't tilt, it doesn't fall over. It's grounded completely to the planet. That's what we're building energetically as a family and friends, which we consider family.
Oh yeah. Even with ficus tree, even with that tree, we were talking about it, because she rolls with the punches as well. When she's in the house, if there's an energetic hit that someone has to take,
she loses all her leaves.
She drops leaves.
It's
she
like
totally
having the
does.
Canary in the coal mine in this house.
Yeah, she totally does.
It's the weirdest thing to see, and you have to be aware of it. You have to care
enough to be aware of it.
To care. This your awareness, and then this is what happens. I guess it's magic, and it's like, no, that's been happening the whole time. You just were unaware of it, and as a creator, you weren't doing your creator thing, right? But now it's time to do your creator thing and watch it explode outward, resonate outward with you.
That's why I get upset when plants don't thrive in the house.
Yes, that bothers me now.
Because we get indirect sunlight in the house. We never get direct. Well, the places we get direct sunlight, I can't put a plant. So where I can put plants, we don't get direct sunlight. It's indirect sunlight. And usually everything grows pretty well here. But when something really doesn't grow well, then I get nervous, because I know it's an energy that's probably in the house that shouldn't be. And I think you know it too.
For sure. And one of the things I've spoken about on many occasions over the lately, right? So being over this is a huge responsibility, right? And I laugh. I go, of course I would be here for this, because I wouldn't trust anyone else, and that nothing against anyone else. I know me, and I'm like, I can do it.
Right.
So I'll do it so you don't have to. If you're not ready, I'm here. That's my job. Like, if you don't know how to fix the toilet and you know how to fix the roof, go fix the roof. I can fix this toilet.
Do what you're good at.
Yeah, do what you're good at, right? So I'm over the ley line with you. So what better way to keep it clean? That energy is clear.
Yeah.
That's energy from the planet that we can pull into ourselves and we can take and use and then put back by helping nature. It's like working with Mother. And in conjunction with that, you experience no time, because it's now. You experience the now moment when you're quiet.
You're
with
really
a bird
in the now.
Tree,
And
the cat at your feet.
I agree.
And the joint in your mouth, like, yo, music is chill. You experience no time. Just sun, and everything, all of a sudden, your shoulders are relaxed, your back is relaxed, everything is chill. There's a reason for that. Because that's what's happening. You're raising your frequency high enough. And now it's time to start learning more of those advanced things. All right, for those of you that don't know, we had one of the best conversations ever with our buddy Aaron Kessler, aka Space Jesus, baby. He did a little show with me, an interview kind of thing in the Facebook FearLess TFR group. So anyone that wants to be down with FearLess, the group function, it's FearLess TFR on Facebook. It's a private group. You got to answer a question to get in, answer the question, be honest, and just one of the admins will let you in. You be part of the meditations, the extra conversations in the space. So there's no, BS involved. There's no drama. It's just straight, let's get to work, advanced class, tip of the spear type information.
Oh, we want to thank Cowboy Chris. He signed up for a lifetime membership through TFR. Thank you so much. We will reach out to you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, as soon as the show's over, I'll say what's up and stuff. If you can't get on Facebook, then you can't be in that group. That's where I had to put the group, and that's where I had to make it roll. I'm not doing it on YouTube as of yet. I will be rolling out the podcast again, the I Am We Are Fearless podcast, on YouTube. So Frank Castle's Fearless, that's where you'll get it. Sign up and subscribe over there. Just press a button and then get your notifications. And when I put out new stuff, you'll be the first one to get it. And I'm going to have a whole bunch of guests from the Fearless family start doing it, because they're stepping up into their own power, and it's time for them to come out and let you know how they did it. They do it in all different ways. I hit my tooth on the microphone.
Oh, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. This is more of an ego thing. Anyway, bruised ego, ego death. Have a great night. Thank you for staying with us. This is Fearless. I'm Frank Castle. This is Paula Milo, and we're your protection
from deception.